You start with a $20 thermometer in a 130-degree attic, and if you keep climbing, you can end up owning the company that bills 7 figures to keep a city cool. At the top, you are not fixing one dead condenser anymore. You are signing permits, pricing crews, and backing 6-figure technicians with your name. Level 1, the helper. You are 19, maybe 22, maybe just done pretending college was going great. It is 6:30 in the morning and you are standing beside a van that smells like sheet metal, old coffee, and burnt dust. Your job title is barely a job title. Helper, installer's assistant, shop kid with boots. You make somewhere around $15 to $19 an hour in a lot of markets, sometimes less, sometimes more if summer is brutal and the company is desperate. You think heating, ventilation, and air conditioning is mostly swapping boxes and twisting screws. You do not know yet that air is invisible. Plumbing, electricity bites, and one bad measurement can ruin an entire day. Your first tools are cheap and humiliatingly basic. Tape measure, utility knife, channel locks, Sharpie. You carry flex duct, drag recovery tanks, hold ladders, sweep up copper scraps, and crawl where the older techs no longer volunteer to crawl. Your mentor does not explain much. He points. Get the float switch. Cut that insulation cleaner. No, the other truck. You learn by being wrong in public. Then comes the first attic in July, low roofline, nails poking through decking like teeth, sweat dropping off your nose onto a furnace cabinet. You believe toughness is the whole game. The hard lesson is that toughness without neatness gets people fired. A crooked plenum, kinked drain line, or loose low voltage wire means a callback, and callbacks are the one word everyone says with the same disgust. You are not valuable because you suffer. You are valuable when the system starts, drains, and stays fixed. That realization pushes you toward the first real credential. Level 2, the trainee. Now you are doing school at night or a fast certificate program during the day, maybe 4 to 6 months, maybe longer if life gets in the way. You finally hear the trade explained in a way that makes the mess logical. Superheat, subcooling, static pressure, heat transfer, split systems, air handlers, condensing units. Your notebook fills up with diagrams that looked impossible 2 months ago. You still work like a mule, but now you have context. The big gate here is the Environmental Protection Agency Section 608 certification, because if you are handling refrigerant, you need it. Type 1 for small appliances, Type 2 for high-pressure systems, Type 3 for low-pressure systems, or Universal if you want the full passport. You study after work, half asleep, with dirty fingernails and a headache. Passing that test feels small to outsiders. In the trade, it is the moment you stop being furniture. You start touching gauges, not just carrying them. Maybe the company buys a manifold set and vacuum pump for shared use, or maybe you start piecing together your own kit one painful purchase at a time. $100 here, $200 there. Meter, leak detector, torch kit, cordless drill. You learn that this career quietly turns your trunk into a hardware store you paid for yourself. The mistake at this level is confidence that outruns understanding. You see a frozen evaporator coil and think, low refrigerant. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes filthy filter, collapsed duct, bad blower motor, closed dampers, or a caked coil starving airflow. The trade begins to punish guessing. That is why your next step is not knowing facts. It is learning to diagnose without lying to yourself. Level 3, the apprentice. You are on the clock full time now, somewhere between your first and fourth year depending on the company and state. In some paths you log thousands of hours, often around 8,000 by the time a formal apprenticeship is complete. Your pay climbs into roughly $39,000 to $50,000 a year, sometimes better if overtime is wild. Summer means 12-hour days, winter means furnaces, no heat calls, and finding out which customers think a broken igniter is your personal attack on their family. Now you ride with service technicians instead of only installation crews. The scene changes. Instead of new equipment on clean schedules, you enter homes and rooftops where something already failed. A dog is barking. The customer is watching your face for the verdict. The house is 86 degrees. This is where the job stops being mechanical and becomes emotional. You are not repairing metal. You are entering discomfort, money stress, and occasional panic. You believe good technicians just know the answer. The hard lesson is that the best ones follow a sequence when everyone else is flailing. Verify voltage, check safeties, measure amperage, confirm airflow, inspect capacitor, test contactor, read pressures only after the basics make sense. Your mentor can hear a bad bearing, smell an overheated transformer, and spot a clogged condensate line before you even find the flashlight. It feels like wizardry. It is actually pattern recognition bought with years and callbacks. This is also where you get your first real mistake that keeps you awake. Maybe you leave a disconnect out. Maybe you miswire a thermostat. Maybe you crack a drain pan stepping where you should not. Nothing teaches faster than the sentence, "We have to go back because of you." Shame becomes fuel. If you stay, your hands get steadier. Soon, somebody lets you take an easy call alone. Level 4, the junior technician. This is your first taste of freedom and your first taste of blame. You have your own van some days, or at least your own ticket. Residential, no cooling. Capacitor, replacement. Clogged drain. Blower motor. Dirty flame sensor. Failed condenser fan motor. Bread and butter calls. In many markets, this is where you move into that roughly 52,000 to 66,000 range, and in hot urban areas with overtime you can push higher. For a person who was hauling flex duct not long ago, it feels like serious money. Your scene now is the driveway tablet, the ringing phone, the customer standing too close while you remove the panel. You think being a real technician means fixing everything yourself. The hard lesson is that independence includes knowing when not to fake it. You call tech support. You call your senior. You tell the customer, honestly, that you need a second set of eyes. Pride loses to professionalism. You also learn the ugly business side. Some companies push numbers hard. Accessories. Indoor air quality upsells. Membership plans. Turn every no cooling into a sales opportunity. You feel the tension immediately. Customers need trust, but the company needs margin. If you become a parts cannon, replacing components until something works, you burn both. If you become the tech who actually explains options, shows readings, and leaves the old part in the customer's hand, your reputation grows. Tool-wise, your kit gets expensive now. Digital meter, micron gauge, better vacuum pump, charging scale, combustion analyzer if you touch furnaces, maybe $2,000 to $5,000 invested over time. You begin to realize the trade rewards adults who can think under pressure. And once you can handle most residential calls without chaos, the next door opens. Bigger systems, bigger money, bigger consequences. Level 5, the journeyman. You are 5 or 6 years in and finally dangerous in the useful sense. You can walk onto a roof, stare at a package unit, and build a story from the sound, the heat, and the electrical readings. You know why one bedroom never cools. You know when a return is undersized, when the ductwork was doomed from day one, when the builder saved money and gave the homeowner 10 years of uneven comfort. You stop worshiping equipment brands and start respecting installation quality. This is where a lot of technicians split into identities: residential service ace, commercial rooftop specialist, refrigeration tech, new construction lead, startup and commissioning, test and balance. Each path changes your life. Residential gives you constant customer contact and fast problem solving. Commercial gives you rooftops, lifts, economizers, building schedules, and less small talk. Refrigeration gives you grocery cases, restaurants, late-night emergency calls, and a very strange relationship with ice. Pay often rises into the upper 60s, 70s, or low 80s here, depending on region, overtime, and specialty. In extreme climate states or union-heavy pockets, strong technicians can do better. The labor shortage helps. Good people are hard to find, and everyone knows it. The lesson here is that fixing equipment is not enough. You start noticing airflow, and controls are where average techs get exposed. The compressor may be fine. The building automation setting may be wrong. The dampers may be fighting the call. The static pressure may be terrible because nobody designed the duct system properly. You cannot solve 2026 systems with 1996 thinking. That pushes you into the smartest specialization in the trade. Level 6, the controls and commercial specialist. Now you are the person they call when the basic guys have already changed the obvious parts and the building is still miserable. You carry a laptop, not just gauges. You speak both mechanical and digital. Sensors, actuators, variable frequency drives, communication faults, sequencing, occupied and unoccupied schedules, alarm histories. Smart buildings are making this level more valuable every year. The scene is no longer one angry homeowner in sandals. It is a school, hospital wing, office tower, or manufacturing plant where one comfort problem affects 50 people, or 500. You are tracing a low voltage issue through a rat's nest of control wiring while a facility manager asks how long the air handlers will be down. This is where calm becomes a paid skill. You may add manufacturer training, control certifications, or building automation credentials. The exact alphabet soup changes by employer, but the market reward is real because fewer techs want to master both refrigeration circuits and software logic. Salaries here can move into the $85,000 to $110,000 range with enough experience, overtime, and the right region. Sometimes more if you are in a major city, mission-critical environment, or industrial setting. The hard lesson is that specialization buys money but also responsibility. You get the weird calls, the night calls, the nobody else can figure this out calls, your family notices, dinner gets interrupted, vacation gets tested by your phone. You become useful in a way that feeds your pride and steals your peace. Eventually someone asks if you want to run a crew instead of only fixing the impossible. Level 7, the lead technician. You are still wearing work boots, but now the younger techs watch how you react when things go sideways. You assign jobs, check installs, answer field calls, and occasionally walk into a disaster site where 3 people have already made it worse. The company trusts you with the calls that can lose the account. A failed rooftop unit at a restaurant on a Friday. A church with no heat before Sunday. A tenant improvement project that is behind schedule and blaming everyone else. Your money can look good here, often 90,000 plus in strong markets, especially if bonuses or overtime are attached. But what really changes is status. Apprentices quote you when you are not there. Dispatch asks what route makes sense. Salespeople want your blessing before promising something stupid. You are now half technician, half translator between reality and what the office hoped reality would be. You believe leadership means having every answer. The hard lesson is that leadership means owning other people's mistakes without humiliating them into hiding the next one. You remember your own bad thermostat wiring, your own forgotten disconnect, your own panicked guesses. So you teach sequence, not ego. Check airflow before charge. Check power before parts. Write notes that the next tech can actually use. You become the rare senior who makes people better instead of smaller. And then the owner takes a week off, your phone explodes, and you discover the next level of the trade is not mechanical at all. It is operational. Level 8, the service manager or contractor. This is the fork where many excellent technicians get trapped or transformed. You move into the office, at least partly. Instead of one broken system, you are responsible for 10 vans, 12 personalities, callbacks, payroll, permitting, inventory, customer reviews, maintenance agreement renewal rates, and whether the warehouse remembered to order contactors before the heat wave. The work is cleaner and somehow more exhausting. You may be on salary now, maybe somewhere around 100,000 to 130,000 in a solid market, sometimes with bonus upside, or you become a licensed contractor and go out on your own. That path sounds romantic until you price workers' compensation insurance, general liability, van payments, fuel cards, software subscriptions, and the cost of a technician quitting in July. The scene that defines this level is not on a roof. It is at a desk at 9:30 at night, looking at a spreadsheet while your phone lights up with unit still not cooling. You miss the simplicity of gauges. Numbers do not care how good you were with the torch. They care whether your gross margin survives warranty work and whether your dispatching keeps windshield time down. But if you can combine field credibility with actual business discipline, this is where real wealth starts. Not fantasy money, real trade money. A well-run heating, ventilation, and air conditioning company can do 7 figures in revenue long before the owner feels rich, and can eventually do far more with maintenance contracts, replacement work, commercial accounts, and a dependable crew, which brings you to the final level. Level 9, the owner. You are no longer the person customers ask to check the capacitor. You are the name on the side of the vans, the signature on the permit, the person who gets called if a crew damages a ceiling, if payroll glitches, if a summer heat wave overwhelms the schedule, if a longtime technician wants a raise and another company is waving a bigger number. You started with a $20 thermometer. Now you sign off on $30,000 equipment orders like they are groceries. On good years, if the company is healthy, your income can surpass what top field technicians make by a wide margin. On bad years, you discover ownership is a very efficient machine for turning confidence into stress. One lawsuit, one bad hire, one cash flow crunch, one warm spring that delays service demand, and you remember this is still a trade business, not magic. Some owners stay small and make a strong living. Some build fleets. Some add plumbing or electrical. Some sell after years of growth for a multiple of earnings and walk away with the kind of exit nobody imagined when they were knee-walking through insulation. The emotional cost finally becomes clear here. You spent years becoming the person everyone calls when comfort fails. That feels noble, and it is. But it also means summers disappear, phones stay on, and your body remembers every attic, rooftop, and crawl space even after your title changes. Your hands may be cleaner now, but your brain never clocks out, and that is the real ladder of a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician. You start as the sweaty kid carrying duct through a 130-degree attic, hoping not to get yelled at. If you keep learning, keep getting certified, keep diagnosing instead of guessing, and eventually learn business as hard as you learned refrigeration, you can end up owning the trucks that arrive when everybody else's house goes hot. The thermometer was cheap. Becoming the person behind the whole system was not.